It's game one of the NBA Finals. Bucks, Suns. Hit the theme song, Stoweby. Hit the song. All right. Yeah, that's cringy. So instead of doing that, we're going to do all of it. We're going to go through series prices. I want to get your thoughts overall in this series as we're heading into game one. DFS showdown lineups for tonight, but also we can look at props and gambling. You're tuned in to the NBA Finals DFS preview on WaylandDailySports.com. My name is John Jansen. You can follow me at JJansen34. David Stowe, you can follow at Stoweby, Stoweby. First, I'll start with this. Excitement level surrounding this finals, and I guess that leads into how you think the series might go, but what do you think about this matchup? It's an interesting one for sure.
I'm super excited if Giannis doesn't miss anything more than game one. I want to see him on the court. I'm extremely excited for this series. I'm a fan of these lesser, not lesser known, but these teams that don't usually get their chance to get into the finals, having their opportunity to shine. I'm a big fan of CP3. He had to work his butt off and had to deal with some really, really bad teams. After what happened with Giannis in Miami last year, everybody was kind of throwing the B word out a little bit there in some aspects and wondering if he was going to get traded. And then, here these two guys are. We got no LeBron, no Steph. The usual suspects aren't in it. And, we got CP3, Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, all these guys. They're all kind of grinders, really. I mean, they finally get their opportunity.
Yeah, but I think what we have been seeing, though, is that also has led to some really poor basketball at times. Guys that are maybe getting caught up in the moment, a moment that they necessarily haven't been, and moments that have been taken over by guys like you just said, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and also we could throw Kevin Durant in there as well. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. How are you playing that? And I don't know, we can look at the NBA Finals a million different ways and break down game one and overthink it too much. But, how are you using, game one, feeling out process? Maybe there are a bit of nerves. How are you using that, I guess, into your props, into how you're going to play your showdown lineups tonight?
Well, my showdown lineups are going to be, honestly, I'm going to do what I did in the last series and focus on Middleton and Holiday. I don't think nerves, they're both going to have nerves. So I think that's kind of a net. I don't think it really matters one way or the other. They're both going to be nervous. It'll probably be ugly the first few minutes while they're feeling everything out while they settle down. So I don't think that's too big of a deal because it is two new teams that are getting into it. It's not like it's an old veteran experienced team that's been there and then an up and comer. It's like you got two, relatively unknowns for most people in the country and in the world. We've been following them. We know what they are, but I don't think it's going to matter much. I'm just going to target my usual guys. And even if Giannis plays, I'm going to still treat it like he's not because I don't think he's going to do enough.
Yeah, how are you approaching that? And, is this one of those things, and especially when we look into a showdown lineup, if nobody's playing him, is it a time to go all in? But just how are you approaching Giannis? Because I thought he was going to be out. I was assuming and going as if when I was prepping for this game that he was going to be out. And then you get the doubtful go to questionable. So when you saw that, what was immediate? Okay, here's how I have to play this.
It doesn't change what I'm going to do at all. It may it may give Bobby Portis a little bit of a hit. It may hurt guys like Middleton, especially his points and rebounds prop. I would end up taking it, taking the unders on that. I don't expect Giannis, if he goes to play 16, 18, 20 minutes. And what could he be? 70% at best. It's not enough to move the needle for me with the exception of maybe like a Brook Lopez or like a Bobby Portis. I might opt to go somewhere else.
Sorry, pizza order there.
Oh, okay. I thought
I I was trying to. Now here's where my mind goes, because radio is just all about like every single second, and we think of every single minute. And I thought Stoweby was going to go long, and I had the pizza guy calling me because I have a delivery. So yeah, there we go. Live radio, live stream. Yeah.
Gotta love it. Hey, I would have stretched it out for you.
I probably should have been like, hey, I gotta make this call. But I will say with Giannis, I don't know if there's going to be a scenario here where you do end up putting him in a captain spot or anything like that, because I think we can safely maybe assume that he's probably not going to be playing that much. Like this is almost the James Harden type thing. This was a bad looking knee injury, and this is a knee injury. I'm sure if it was the regular season, probably would have left him out for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But he's playing because it's the NBA Finals. I question, and I think it's very fair to go at it this way, to question, how productive he's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw that. If you watch the game, you know this guy is struggling to move around. He looked like he was moving slow, just walking around. At game 6, you saw him moving around a little bit. He's nowhere near full strength. So I'm just gonna treat it like Giannis is not playing, with the exception, like I said, Portis, Lopez. I might give them a little bit of a hit, but besides that, it's status quo. Middleton, Holiday are going to be fired up in my lineups. I have no reason to think they're still not going to perform, because even if he is on the court, he's not going to be doing a whole lot. Yeah,
so I think with that, Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis obviously were ones that kind of stepped up in Giannis' absence. Are we looking elsewhere? Is so much, I guess, of the usage, so much of the production just going towards Middleton and Jrue Holiday that's the only ones? Or is Giannis, even though he is playing, we could still maybe look at a guy like Brook Lopez needing to get involved in this one, especially because I don't think Giannis is going to be guarding or have to be put on DeAndre Ayton. I think that's going to have to be Brook Lopez.
It's going to have to be
with that matchup. So I imagine he will be on the floor for a good bit in this game.
Yeah. I mean, a guy like Connaughton is somebody that I'd be willing to take a look at still, too. Okay. I know he's a little higher priced. There's not really a whole lot on the Milwaukee side besides Portis is going to get a downgrade from me. Lopez is getting a downgrade. And then you got your two usual suspects in Connaughton. That's really who I would even consider playing from the Bucks side. I like several of the pieces on the Phoenix side, though.
Yeah, if the Phoenix side, and let's go to that one, and I'll even put up the showdown lineup here because Phoenix is interesting. Chris Paul and Devin Booker, obviously the two ones. DeAndre Ayton had such a big playoff set. I imagine, look, is this captain spot worthy, or is it just, hey, we know he dominated the Hawks matchup. It's enough to put him back into the lineup, but maybe not enough to think that, okay, this is a different series. Don't know if he's going to dominate in that style or that similar fashion. So is DeAndre Ayton worth a captain spot, or is this just, hey, get him in your lineup because he's going to at least be on the floor?
I definitely think he's worth a captain spot today.
Nice.
But just because, like you said, it's gonna be either Lopez or Portis on Ayton. Giannis is not gonna be banging with him, even if he does play. They're still thin. I know they looked good in Atlanta, but Atlanta did a terrible job attacking that. They did not run the inside pick and roll nearly as much as I thought that they should have in games 5 and 6. It's just, I don't know what it is. The one thing that got them there is something they just decided to quit doing altogether. They were just, Huerter was making a bunch of bad mid-range shots and shooting out of rhythm. He looked terrible in game 6. I think that could have been a lot closer game, possibly have gone to a game 7 if he was actually hitting his shots. I don't think the Suns are going to make that same mistake. I think that they're going to attack the glass and expose Robin Lopez if he is playing the 5, if Milwaukee's even smart enough to keep him under the glass, because that's something that Milwaukee didn't do in game 6 either. Is, in game 5, Lopez just, he was dominating under the glass. He's sitting there under the rim the whole time. And then game 6, for some reason, they decide to stretch him out again. It doesn't add up.
Right.
So it's just, the Suns are not gonna let this opportunity go to waste. They're gonna go ahead and attack where Giannis would be, and so I think Ayton's a fantastic play in a captain spot.
So the other two I mentioned, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and I want to highlight Devin Booker mostly, just because I think he is in an interesting spot here. He didn't particularly, I don't think, played well in that Hawks series. I thought he was hit and miss, and a lot of, a couple of pretty bad games in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at what the Bucks did and Coach Bud did in Game 1 against the Hawks, and they are not necessarily, hey, we have to be aggressively defending their shooters, or especially a guard like Devin Booker, and they kind of let Trae Young roam free. Do you think that, maybe just based off what they did in Game 1, that the Bucks, they're not going to be out aggressively defending Devin Booker, and we may have a nice solid game from him Game 1? Just how do you kind of take what the Bucks have been doing against guys like Trae Young and Devin Booker? Obviously a little bit different. He plays the two.
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young primary ball handler, but aggressive scores deep from three and likes to drive in and slash into the lane. But I think the thing here that's a little bit different is Devin Booker just hasn't been playing as well as of late.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and it's kind of part of that. He can turn it on when he needs to out of necessity. And yeah. They have a complete team, so I just don't think it's really been a situation where he's needed to. Chris Paul's been playing some of the best ball that I've seen him play in a long time, just going off, from scoring, which is something that you don't really associate with Chris Paul. You usually associate it with distribution and kind of gritty defense and things like that. So as far as Booker goes, I do think he can, and I mean, he's probably going to have a solid day, but as far as a ceiling game, I think it's less likely. I mean, I still think it's more likely that Ayton and CP3 are going to be going back and forth and kind of, going after him on the inside. Now, with that said, the Bucks still are one of the worst 3-point defending teams in the league, and Booker is a sharpshooter. So it's not anything that would shock me if he did have a 60 DK point outing. It's just they're full health. So it's on the lesser range of outcomes, in my opinion.
So who are we going with some of the value plays? I mean, Cam Payne was obviously had a few big games. I know Cameron Johnson was able to show up. So we had a couple of big games, especially from the Suns bench. Is that where we're looking mostly, is the Suns here? Because as you said, they're not one that relies on just one or two guys. They are without a doubt a team. And so I think Cam Johnson, anything.
Cam Johnson is one that I've been eyeballing. I wrote him up in my article for my main value guy, because I mean he gets his 24 minutes a game. And he'll get his 6 to 8 shots off, and he's been hitting them. I think, what is it, either 4 of the last 5 or 3 of the last 5. He's had at least 11 points a game. Yep. He's gotten himself 4 or 5 rebounds a game. That, I mean, for 2,800, you're giving me a guy that can give you 20 to 25 DK points, maybe more if he gets a couple of extra shots off. I mean, you need that from somebody at that price point. You can't sneeze at that in the NBA Finals with these shortened rotations. A sub 3K guy is giving you that. You got to jump on it.
So here's a good question. Don't want to play Crowder, but he's been showing up in the optimizer. Is there? I think the interesting one is just how things shake out between Crowder and Bridges, because they were ones that were a little bit quiet, I would say, in that Clippers series. And do you think either of those guys show up in a big way, or is it just, guys like Cameron Johnson have kind of earned their place that they will get a little bit more run here in terms of usage?
I think Crowder's got a birthday narrative tonight. So
birthday, is that why the optimizer has him? Birthday narrative?
You'd have to ask Ghost on that, but I do believe I'm gonna have to double check and make sure. But I do think Jay Crowder has a birthday.
I'm gonna look this up, because if Jay Crowder has a birthday, guess what? He's in the captain spot, baby. He's in the captain spot. Jay Crowder is 31 years old today, July 6th, 1990. Guess what?
There you go.
You are DeAndre Ayton. You out of here. It's Jay Crowder, ladies and gentlemen. Where's Jay Crowder?
Oh, man.
There you go,
see, this is the sort of top rate analysis that you don't get from anywhere else. WinDailySports.com.
That's why I'm here. That's why the optimizer has him showing up. I don't
Oh
think so.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Oh
think so.
no, I'm not gonna run him in my captain. I'll run him in some util, but happy birthday.
So we do have a little bit of a FanDuel question specific here. Who do you prefer at the captain spot there? I
Yeah.
don't have it to get up, but yeah,
Let me-
if you want to look that up, I know for this one for DraftKings, and of course pricing is going to be different, but usually a lot of it remains the same. And I think DeAndre Ayton probably is going to be a guy that you could put in that spot as well.
Yeah, Ayton's still a guy that you can use, but also on FanDuel, you don't have that 1.5 times price increase for your captain spot.
Right.
So that does make it just a little bit different. It would probably still be either Ayton or Middleton for me on FanDuel.
Ayton over Middleton?
Or Ayton or Middleton.
Ayton or Middleton. Okay.
Yeah.
And Lopez over Ayton, I feel may be the move. Do you feel that same way? Any chance? Because like he did, like Brook Lopez did have a couple of big games there. You know, like he showed up. Now, obviously, to outscore him, no, but you know, Brook Lopez is going at 7,400 and Ayton's going out at 8,400.
Look, it's a showdown slate. That's all I'm saying. Look, if you're playing in the Millie Maker that they have, there are 106,000 entries. So get as weird as you want to in that contest if you can afford it. If you can bankroll some weird lineups, if you want to throw a couple of $100 doing some off the wall stuff, I mean that's the only way that you're going to be able to accomplish a single takedown on a Millie Maker with 100,000 plus people. So it's just the way that it is. So get weird as you want to be. Fade the top guy or two.
Is that a weird one? Like, is that one that would be weird enough? Like, what is the move that you are doing to be a little bit different? Is it Lopez? Like, okay, Lopez captain spot here. I don't know about that, but like, is it? But what is that spot to be a little bit different?
For me, hold on for a spot to get a little bit different. Let me pull my DraftKings stuff back up again.
Is it Bobby Portis?
That's what
Bobby
I was going to say. If Giannis isn't going, I like the idea of throwing a little Bobby Portis in there.
So if Giannis isn't going, is that the biggest change? Just Bobby Portis?
Well, Portis and Lopez.
Those both.
Yeah, and if Giannis plays, then just pick one or the other. Honestly,
okay.
You're gonna have to fade either. And my lean would be to fade Portis because he's the direct plug and play.
Yes,
so
I agree.
That would be my thing. If Giannis looks like he's going to get 18 to 20 minutes, they're going to be out of Portis's minutes mainly.
I love it. Bets for tonight. Any props? I may be.
Hey, you're going to have to block him for saying that. Tucker over Portis.
Oh no.
You
know what? Lucky Ghost is on vacation. Lucky Ghost is on vacation. But let's go with some props tonight. I looked at DeAndre Ayton rebounds. You know, it really was hard for me because I guess the first game I just don't know how they're going to play it. I would have liked to look at Devin Booker because of what Trae Young did game one, and I know the Bucks aren't usually aggressive in trying to find and stop a guy like Devin Booker in the way they weren't really that aggressive to stop Trae Young. But where are you being, where are you going in this one? Where's your mindset? Because for me, it just seems a little bit of too much of the unknown that I don't know where to go here.
Yeah. As far as props goes, Cam Jansen over 6.5 points. I like that. They got that. It's minus money, but I feel like he gets 7 or more pretty easily. I think he's going to get 24 to 26 minutes, and he's going to get enough shots to go ahead and do that. I'm just taking a look at the PRA right now and just kind of looking at everything and see DeAndre Ayton PRA 28.5. So, I mean, you can assume he can, 15 points, 15 rebounds, a couple of assists.
Are we still expecting, and that was kind of my biggest question as I was looking at the board, like, are we expecting Ayton to be hitting the glass as hard?
I still think,
or at least against the Bucks, who I do think provide a little bit more length than the Hawks certainly did.
They do. I still do think. I think he's gonna bang in there. It's just like I said, Portis is a pretty good ball player, but he's not Giannis. So I would I'd be leaning on the unders on his rebound props if Giannis was 100%. But I mean, Portis is in the second rotation for a reason, and Ayton's been playing lights out, so I feel okay doing that. My personal opinion on that one.
Cam Johnson is at 10.5. How are we feeling?
10.5 PRA.
PRA.
That sounds.
PRA.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
10.5 PRA sounds good for Cam Johnson.
Right.
Yeah,
he's carved himself a role in this lineup, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
he definitely is, I think, steady enough. Like he had in the Clipper series point totals of 12, 11, 12, 5, 14. So just his point totals have gotten him over that 10.5. And I think no matter what, he keeps that role for sure.
Oh yeah. And then let's see here. We got a little Chris Paul over 1.5 made threes for
really
134. Yep.
Ooh, look at you with the little threes. I like it. So that is all of our bets for today. All right. And just last question, and I know we got to try and figure out the Giannis situation, but the spread is at 5.5, now up to 6 on DraftKings. Where are you leaning?
It was 6.5 this morning. I think it was 6.5 this morning.
It was, and then initially when the Giannis news came out, went down to 5.5. Now it's back up to 6.
Now it's back up. I think I'm going with the Suns.
Are you?
They just have the more complete team.
Yeah, they certainly do. I'm leaning Bucks, so I don't know what that means.
I
really don't. Yeah, I just think it's going to be a close game. One, I know Giannis is out and they have to deal with that, but they've already dealt with it for a couple of games. Look, the pick and roll game was prominent with Atlanta, and it's going to be prominent again with the Suns. You know, it's something. It's not like it's nothing they haven't seen before.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they play well. I think it'll be a good, close game one, but obviously 6 points. You know, certainly the Suns. I think the Suns win. I do think that.
You just think
6 points is a lot. Yeah, 6 points is a lot.
Six is a lot, but like if we're talking about a situation where Giannis is in the game and he plays for a little while and it stays close, and then he hits a minutes limit, and then the third and fourth quarter, they kind of definitely see that a little bit.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my mind is at with it. I still think it can stay close, but a 7-point game is not a blowout by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. That is it for the NBA Finals DFS preview for Game 1. Enjoy Game 1 tonight, 9:00, and of course, Giannis is the big story. So be in the Discord chat as the latest comes in, and then as Giannis is either ruled out or he is ruled in, you can be in our Discord chat, and our DFS guys, including Stoweby, will be in there, tinkering with lineups, messing around like, hey, here's what I like now, whatever the situation may be. Make sure to be in the Discord chat. Yes, be flexible. I think that's a big thing. That is it for us, though. Enjoy Game 1 for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, I'm sure, recapping the Game 1 between the Bucks and Suns.
And then we could say
football.
Football. We're going to be talking a lot more football.
You know what? We're just going to be talking about, I think Sina Jad and the boys, they know it. We're going to be talking about sports.